Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Liz?
Wait a minute. Is everybody
You're not ready?
listening?
Motion to approve the minutes of the previous May 22nd meeting.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Bruce?
Aye.
Here, we're all here. You don't have to say anything. Aye.
Who is that? Is that blank? Is there a name?
Sally. It's Sally
Sally,
Aye.
Underwood Miller.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Sally, hello. You're with us. Okay, all those in favor? Sorry, Jan, or we don't, I don't think, because we don't have anyone on Zoom.
Bruce, aye.
No opposed as far as.
Okay. Patrick, you're voting aye.
We don't need to
We don't
do
need
it.
to do that. We all said aye.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, good. We have some people. Jackie, terrific. Jackie, I was going to let you be first and last. Yes, me. Who, me? That means you get appointed. The first order of business is we want to ask for presentations by each of the members of the audience on the issues of affordable housing and the thinking behind the development of the Glendale Middle Road property. So I know, Jackie, you've thought about this a lot. So you get to be first.
Oh,
And will you come, please stand so people who are on Zoom can see you and
Yeah, this
Identify-
microphone. will pick you up,
identify
yeah.
yourself and your address.
sure. I don't want to be rude though in terms of speaking to someone else who is already here would like to speak.
All right, but I called on you, so it's fair enough.
It is fair. Ah. So you would like for me to talk about the housing production plan?
No,
Oh,
we're way past that.
oh, okay.
Tonight's discussion is about the affordable housing program that this trust has tried to put underway. And also specifically, the discussion is about the Glendale Middle Road, which I know you're quite familiar with. And what I'm interested in having on the record, because you and your neighbors and others have been here and have particular points of view about the project. So I'd like to go on the record what your objections are, what your support is for it, or if you have no support for it, that's fine. We're just really interested to hear both your opinion and your facts and your knowledge of having lived in the neighborhood, which is why I called on you first, and then we'll just go down the rows.
Well, okay, I guess that's okay with my neighbors, whom I have very good relationships with, by the way. So I did want to make a few comments, and thanks, Randy. I also wanted to just acknowledge a new select member, board member who's on the board. Thank you for all of your work, and, and Patrick, I see you over there, different role. So what I wanted to say was, just in terms of what I think the town should emphasize with respect to housing is something that I've been reviewing in the housing production plan, which this body actually created. And one of the things that the body said in this housing production plan is that Stockbridge is one of the first and only communities in Berkshire County to surpass the state 10% affordability threshold. So I think that's really an important point as you go through your various thoughts, comments on affordability. It also says that because 80% of Stockbridge's housing stock was built before 1980, with more than half built before 1950, providing solutions to maintain the existing housing stock is a high priority. And so my comments really relate more to the focus of the board with respect to really trying to create an environment where the existing housing stock is shorn up and some means to support that is given.
I'm going to interrupt you, Jackie. And it's a fine point, but that's not the mission of this group. So
My understanding is that the mission of this group is either to provide affordable housing preserve affordable housing or create affordable housing. Am I wrong?
That's correct. But the existing
so-
stock, maintaining the existing stock and focusing on the existing stock is not our particular focus. But what is our focus, or what the group that has that focus is the CBDG grant, which was $1.2 million for 3 towns. That money is specifically to maintaining, and this group has been very, very active before we became an entity. The support for that was non-existent. And we took an active role. And now the town is getting about 500,000 a year in direct proceeds. So, well, that isn't our role. We are trying to help, but that's how we're trying to help.
Thanks. The other thing I wanted to point out was that in terms of the plan itself, which you solicited community support for, it says that the redevelopment of existing properties, 78% of the folks who responded to the housing survey said that the redevelopment of existing properties was incredibly important. I think it received the highest percentage of that survey. And so once again, my viewpoint is that to have this body focus on preserving affordable housing regarding properties in town that are either underdeveloped or have existing housing on it for which someone wants to sell or
Are
whatever.
you familiar with any that you would point to that you see? Focus.
We have over the past year and a half talked about several properties actually that would qualify, for that. So I
Want to
would
name
just,
those?
well, there are others here who could name them, but I think, Randy, if you went back and looked at the minutes of this board, of this committee that we've been engaged with for the past year and a half, I think, it should be easy enough to identify those parcels.
Randy, if we're gonna let the public speak, I think we should let them speak, and then you have in the next item the agenda for the rest of us to speak. And I think we should give folks an opportunity without the cross-examination perhaps too.
I'm very anxious to get as many details as we can. And I know Jackie's very competent to provide them. The
I
rest of
try
the
to
people-
be, I have to say that I didn't expect to walk in and be put in this position, but it's okay. But
I
once
think you've
again,
had practice, right?
I like to talk.
I think.
You've been very generous in terms of giving me time, and I really appreciate that. But like I said, the focal point from my viewpoint is to preserve the existing housing stock in whatever way that you can. And I also think that that the parcel, I'm a second homeowner. I mean, I have property here. And I think that based on a lot of the conversations that I've listened to in terms of this town, I think, the character of neighborhoods is incredibly important to this town, which is one of the reasons why I am sort of trying to urge this board to think more about the character of this town and to deal with how you keep that character intact, particularly because the donated property from the Morrises has wetlands on it. Many members even of this board have weighed in for a different project on the need to maintain open space. I think that the friendly 40B process, which I think this board has been talking about using in this instance, potentially is problematical because you're circumventing some of the existing processes you already have in place, i.e. Anything that would be developed would go to the Zoning Board of Appeals. You've already acknowledged on your board that the Zoning Board of Appeals does not have very much experience in this area. So that's a concern as well. And the idea of sandwiching a street, for lack of a better term, between two existing homes is very problematical. I don't even know if you were to do that, if you weren't if you would not be creating additional zoning noncompliances as a result of that action. I think that we all know, given the scarce resources that are available for affordable housing, and given the resources that this town has to spend on all sorts of projects, taking on something of that nature would be difficult, if not impossible. We also know, based on your studies, that it's going to be an expensive endeavor. I also reviewed the item that you may be voting on this evening. Obviously, there are some process concerns that I have because the board had already agreed not to advance a water study for Glendale Middle Road, and now that's being revisited, I guess, based on the chair's agenda here, where it says approval of proposal from Abacus and Thompson Architects and Planners to develop a conceptual plan. It was also problematical from my viewpoint because just the material that you shared with us talked about like a first phase look at the parcel. And so that in and of itself was hard to read because I don't really know that there won't be a second or third phase. So the density associated with any kind of proposal on that property is problematical. There's also some language in here that says homes will be clustered. Create a conceptual site plan for the development of the initial buildable land area. Homes will be clustered toward green open areas, et cetera. I'm surprised once again that the term initial is being used. This implies there's going to be more. There's talk about all work will be detailed enough that it addresses real world issues and can comfortably fit on the site. I don't know what the definition of real world is. There's a reference to details such as pitch roofs, et cetera, et cetera. No detailed floor plans for the homes will be prepared. I don't know if the sketches that are being proposed would be dimensioned. Also, the proposal seems very inwardly facing. I don't know to what extent your consultant might be looking at the surrounding context. I think we have, in my opinion, we have an ideal block. We have folks on this block who are Norman Rockwell models, very little second home ownership. We have intergenerational housing. We have kids on this block. So, I'm really concerned about how the development of a 35-acre site, which is anomalous really, because there's no other property on this street that has that dimension. So in and of itself, it takes special care and consideration. I think just going to some of the town meetings, there's been some concern about chapter 61, I think, and all the sites that might come. I'm sorry, I'm kind of skipping around, and I appreciate, you giving me this opportunity. But so if I skip around a little bit, I think you're all familiar with what I'm talking about since I've been talking about this for a year and a half. Let's see here. There's no conversation in some of your documents about sharing your thoughts about trees, the caliper of trees that need to be removed to facilitate any kind of proposal. One of the comments in the document says that we'll be guided by our knowledge and experience creating affordable housing developments to create a site plan and housing design, but will not provide financial funding or regulatory information or advice. One of my biggest concerns has been with respect to regulatory information. Very little of what's been given to the board to guide your decision really has related to how you get to wherever it is you want to go. And I think.
Which is what we need, Jackie, I think, in order to make a responsible decision.
Well, so far you don't have it.
No, we don't have the information.
I think you have some information, and in terms of the way that we've been dealing in this forum is that we've been led to believe that we're getting more information, we're getting more information, we're getting more information. And actually, just sitting in the audience, I think you've been very close to making a decision. And I'm hopeful, that your decision this evening will reflect much of the community concern and policy regarding moving away from a wetland site in a community that's very well established. And
So Jackie, would it be fair to summarize your position as being opposed to gathering further information?
what do you think, Randy? Do you think I mean, look,
Are you?
here's the thing. I'm sorry. It looks like Bruce.
No,
wants to say something.
let's finish this. Go ahead. And then,
For affordable housing, I think siting is incredibly important, and I don't think this site is appropriate.
okay,
to answer
that's
that
fine.
question.
Thank you. I can count on you for having a forthright position. Bruce, would you like to ask?
I just think since this is an agenda item, a couple of points down, that may basically take this whole thing off the table. We probably shouldn't spend a lot more time talking about, the issue.
We're going to finish this.
And we should, if you want to jump ahead to agenda item 5 and vote on the tabled resolution,
Yeah, no.
then we can do that and then put the whole thing to bed.
No,
Agree with Bruce.
Can you make a motion of that, Bruce?
What's that?
Why don't you make a motion for that and let everyone
excuse
vote
me,
on it?
you're not recognized. Thank you.
Of course, you-
Thank you.
of course, you-
Thank you. Jackie, thanks. Okay. Peter,
I'm sorry, can I just say that I feel a little set up,
yeah.
I mean, I
agree.
think, and I just want to say this for the record, the board has talked a lot about engaging the community. But Randy, in terms of personal conversations that I've had, whether you're doing a visit or whatever to this community, we always call the former Mars site our property. And I have to say that really disturbs me because you're a town board and to call it our property.
it is. It is. No,
It's
it
under the
is.
jurisdiction of this board. But in terms of how you're engaging the community, I just personally think that it's very disrespectful because, we've been coming here for a year and a half to talk about this. And, it's under your jurisdiction, but that doesn't mean it's yours.
No, it is. Jackie, could I explain to you?
No, you
Please.
don't have to explain it to me. I understand it's under your jurisdiction. I'm
No, no,
just
no.
saying
We
that-
legally own it. We
I
legally owned it.
understand it. However, you're a town board.
No, but we're a
You are
separate,
a town board. Let me just finish one more thing. The other thing that really bothered me, I have to say, and I really hope that the vote, that you do vote tonight to not consider this property any longer. But one of the things that was really said there was we have a robust process for reviewing things. Like we're very engaged. I don't think necessarily that the town understands your board's role. I mean, ordinarily, and maybe Patrick can correct me, if property is disposed of, and because I know you know a lot, and all of you know a lot, certainly a lot more than I do because
I get in trouble
that's
when I
the name
correct
here.
people, just so you know.
Okay. All I'm just saying is that, if you're talking about disposing of property, which in the past or based on your rules may go to the entire town, that's not how you roll from, to just make it clear.
okay. But could I just make something very clear?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Because it's very important that people don't seem to grasp. We are appointed by the town,
Yes.
but we are an independent entity and we are the only board in the town that has the right to own, to buy, to sell, to own, to manage, to develop land. This land was given to this entity directly. The town has no jurisdiction over it unless,
Until we release it.
unless we
Unless you-
release it back to Mr. Morris, to the town, or we sell it to someone else to develop, which we can do.
I'm talking about an attitude, Randy. And
I know this is
that's
legal
my- you know,
standing.
I understand the legality of it, but I still think that you're in partnership, with town people and certainly with this neighborhood. And so I find the attitude that this is ours to be, very much of an affront to,
Well, I'm very sorry, of course, because, I admire you, Jackie. And so,
I think it's all great. I think what you're doing is, really important. I'm not suggesting that this board be demolished or, that's not, the town voted for, it, but I do think there's a great deal of education that needs to go into, what your body is really doing, and using terms like this is ours and not yours, doesn't help.
Hey, Randy, when people come up to speak, it's against the law to limit what they say. And it seems like a lot of the people here, looking at the crowd from very familiar faces, probably want to talk about your issue number 5. And we're not, if they come up, to Bruce's point, we can't prohibit them from talking about whatever they want to talk about.
I've
So-
not prohibited her from saying anything she
Can
wants.
I finish my sentence? You can interrupt her, but I'd rather finish my sentence.
All right,
right?
finish.
If the folks here are here to talk about Glendale Middle Road, because yet again, and mysteriously to me, it's on the agenda, then I suggest that you let them come up or we have a vote to table the table thing.
No.
Or whatever we do, but
We're dealing
otherwise,
with
we could be here
number
for
3.
2 hours rehashing exactly what we've already heard and already ruled on.
All right, so thank you, Jackie, very much. Peter, would you like to say something? I would like you to say something.
Oh.
I thought this, the agenda question or statement was a little different than how it was presented to Jackie from the beginning. I thought this was a meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought it was Mark that was talking at the last meeting, where we were going to look at the possibility of fresh ideas
Yes.
or
Correct.
maybe things that.
We would
haven't
welcome
had-
that. We'd welcome fresh ideas from you.
Okay, and I thought that those ideas, I thought the board would also be possibly coming with some ideas or
We will be when we speak.
exploratory projects and stuff like that. I was hoping the meeting was gonna start off with maybe an update on the 2 other projects, possibly 3, if you want to include Zabians as a partnership of some point, if it in the Pine Street and Eaton Court, just to get an update on, to see if there was anything progressing or not. Sometimes it feels, we're very focused with our blinders on, and I think we're missing opportunities that could maybe or do exist, across the whole layout of town. So I'm not prepared I thought Jackie did a great job, so I'm gonna hit it from just a little bit different of an angle. As I look, and everybody, has the opportunity to look, as you can go online, with the MSL or realtor.com, and there's been properties, land, for sale that are not as massive as the Morris Estate, but we all know that from the conversations that we've had from the board, it isn't full property that we can do something with anyways, because of the wetlands and stuff like that that's been already discussed. And my question was gonna be, have we even explored any of those? Does the board have money to spend to pursue one of those, if it's like a good property, good opportunity, good location in town? Has the board pursued any that maybe we haven't been told or presented to at this point, with no disrespect to
Are these
the board?
rhetorical? Would you like any answers to those questions?
I guess either if you want to answer now or when I'm finished, you can do a summary, however you want to do it.
We do have funds which have been given to us exclusively by the community preservation. And we have about $300,000, which can be used for any of our projects.
Mhm. So that was that said. Right now, I do know that there's, a few properties that have already been discussed by the board, and there are a few on the market now. And, possibly we could pursue some of those. As it pertains to, from a very high level view of Glendale Middle Road, now that I see that the meeting is steered in that direction. From a neighbor's point of view, we have a large piece of property that, isn't necessarily a large piece. It's got a lot of restrictions. There's going to be a lot of restrictions. We know that it's wet. We've visited the site, some of the board members, to my knowledge. And we're like very focused on one section of the lot that is probably the most impactive to the established neighborhood of Glendale Middle Road. Literally, in a visible sense, it will be right there. We have a very.
I'd like you to be more definitive, because what is right there?
Oh, based on the sketches that I think the board has presented, don't quote me, many meetings ago, maybe many months ago. It seems like the knoll right to the left, right off of, the town dump and Glendale Middle Road, it looks like the houses are, as they were put on from your surveyor or whoever,
The engineer.
the engineer,
That's the only layout that we have.
were, very close to property lines when you talk about clearing trees, an established forest. Glendale Middle Road is one of the oldest preserved streets on the block. We've had a lot of things on the street in the past. We talked about that in, 2 years ago with all the impact from the town dump, the solar, the cell tower. But now those have become, they're still visible in the wintertime, and that's set back even further than this pod one that we referred to in many meetings. So that's with that. On the affordable housing side, there's not really, from my viewpoint, living on the street for 50 plus years, there's no town amenities in the sense. There's no bus route, public transportation. There's no sidewalks. I don't even know if there's room for sidewalks that would make sense, and it's a long ways away from the town. I'm sure there's things that I'm not even thinking about, is there enough power on the street? There's a lot of things. Most importantly, the impact on the neighborhood that has been established for so many years.
Can I just ask you, Peter, if
Sure.
any of these things like no sidewalks and no transportation
Mhm.
has affected you in your living? You said you've been there for 50 years.
I would say maybe, no, it hasn't affected me personally, but maybe I'm a little bit more fortunate than the people that would be qualifying for affordable housing. I don't really know how to answer that question.
Brandy, okay. You had a really good agenda that was very positive, talking about a whole lot of options. And we're turning this into a referendum on the most divisive thing before this board. And I urge you to just move 5 up. If we have this discussion first so that we can end on a positive note, because this is going to dominate the whole conversation around our future for affordable housing. And I think maybe that kind of defeats the purpose of why you wrote the agenda the way you did.
Thank you. I'd like to hear from the audience. That's the purpose
Okay, I'd
of
like to
this.
make a motion to move number 5 up to discussion right now.
So do you want to end the meeting?
No, I want to move number 5 up, and then we'll go back to 2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4.
I want to move
is-
number 5, the vote on the table of resolutions, and just get it done with. You want to have this discussion now? Let's have the discussion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Excuse me?
What's the next?
Excuse me, please? You are not the chair.
Do we want
I
any
am
discussion on the
chair,
motion?
but I'm on the board.
Discussion on the motion or?
I'd like to have some discussion.
Uh, I think that if we follow the order that we've got here, we're going to spend a lot of time repeating things that people have been saying over and over for a long time and kind of spinning our wheels and not making any real progress. I do think having an open discussion about any and all ideas of how we might proceed above and beyond Glendale Middle and sort of have all of us make our comments on our view about affordable housing, workforce housing, how the town is doing with this housing. More of an open-ended discussion without specifically about this property would be useful, and people attending here might have some of their own ideas and we might have some of ours.
I guess my question then, Mark, would, by not having any more input, unless everybody is going to say the same thing, we believe that the people who've been coming to the meetings, I don't know all your names, but I know many of your faces, that you're here because you oppose any development in your neighborhood. And I think it's fair not to assume that that's there. Is there anybody who has a positive
There's
attitude?
a motion on the table.
There's a motion on the table and we're having a discussion about it.
I think it'll just save the meeting and the people attending time if we just get right to the crux of it. I think my
So
sense is that.
would you then accept that everybody sitting here is opposed to?
Well, if
development?
anybody wants to get up and say something before we go to 5, you could let us know, but I think pretty much.
This is an agenda item motion. It has nothing to do with the merits of the arguments. This is an agenda item. I made a motion to move 5 to number 2.
You did, but the moving the 5 to number 2 negates the vote. Any further action?
No, it
on
doesn't. You can
Glendale?
discuss number 5. You can put it to, you can have public input into number 5. I just
That's
think
what
we
we're
should do
doing
that
right
first.
now. That's what we're having right now.
No, we were on agenda 2. Or 3,
No,
3 or whatever.
we're having a discussion.
Well-
If you wish to call the question on the vote, I'm happy to do that. Bruce, do you want?
I just, I'd love to hear from Jackie. I'd love to hear from Peter. But we have gone over this repeatedly at our regularly scheduled meetings. To some degree, we focused enough time on this that we maybe didn't look at some of the other options that might have been available out there because we were spending so much time evaluating this property and what we could do with this property. As you said, we legally own this property. And with all due respect to anyone who's in the room who may in fact not be opposed to developing Glendale Middle Road, it's this trust's decision about whether or not we are going to continue to pursue developing the Glendale Middle Road property that we were given. And if we do what Patrick moved and I seconded, and we vote on 5, and we end up deciding that we are not going to do this, then with all due respect to anyone that's in the room that may be in favor of developing the Glendale Middle Road property, it's a moot point. Because we, the owners of it, will have made a decision that we're not going to pursue it.
And you feel prepared to make that decision?
I personally feel prepared to make that decision, yes.
That's good enough. The purpose of this discussion is we have never heard, we've heard this, that, and the other, and a lot of yada, 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 yada. Jackie has been our most articulate spokesman person, which is why I called her to start.
I'm
the
happy.
discussion.
I'm happy at some point in time, this evening to hear from anyone else in the room that has other ideas about what the Affordable Housing Trust should be looking at to develop, because I think probably everyone in this room, that's my assumption. I could be wrong. We know what assuming stands for.
Right.
But I have a feeling that everyone in this room is in favor of this trust doing something to enable workforce housing and affordable housing to exist within our town limits. But
But not in their backyard.
Oh, come on, Randy.
It really isn't.
All right, let's call the question
Yeah, yeah,
on this motion, can we?
yes.
Sure. We have a vote to call the question?
Aye.
I'll second.
Okay, vote. You want to vote?
What about
Jen? Vote.
I,
Okay,
Aye.
all right. So we'll call the question. All those in favor of moving to vote on the tabled motions that were tabled at our last meeting, say aye.
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 Bruce, I.
No.
Aye.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
Michaela's on now.
Oh, yeah, Michaela's.
She's on the board for another day.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, are you there? Hi,
Yeah, I'm
Michaela.
here.
Welcome.
You're on.
Okay.
Want to vote?
You want to vote?
Sure, aye.
Okay. We have two motions that were tabled. One was to retain the consultant that we looked at for the sewer in order to determine the sources of water and the costs of obtaining water for the property on Glendale Meadow Road. So we need a motion to untable that and to vote on it.
I'd like,
I move to take the engineering for water supply issue off the table to vote on it.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We have to do it, we have to roll call because.
That's right, because Michaela's on. Michaela,
Yep, aye, Michaela.
aye, Patrick.
I ran, no, opposed, Randy.
Aye, Liz.
Aye, Mark. Aye, Mark.
Hi, Jamie.
Thanks.
Bruce and Jen.
I thought I said I for,
But we're now have,
So there's no discussion on this?
I, Bruce.
That was just to untable it, right? Or are we actually
Okay,
not doing it?
now we've untabled it, we can vote.
All right, okay. First, I have some new information. Based on prior conversation, I did reach out to Jim Willis several weeks ago to see about whether or not the land had perked or lacked perking in the past, as you guys had indicated. He confirmed what the neighbors said. Land won't perk. So basically what that means is we can't do
Who
a
is
septic.
he? Who is he?
Jim Willis runs Tri-Town, the guy that does all the septic
water
systems in
perking.
town. Yeah. So we have really just two choices here. My dream of doing a couple of houses in your backyards is thwarted by Jim Willis, which is life. But we really have only two options. You do something at grand scale or you don't do anything at all. Now, the problem with doing something at grand scale, as has been pointed out, is we are at 10%. All right, that means that this town is not under any obligation to, or even has any ability to do a hostile 40B, which is what goes on there. So that means the good folks at the ZBA, including Mark and other great members, would need to approve anything that does not follow, anything that requires a variance. Now, there's two types of laws regarding variances about how towns organize variances in Massachusetts. One is the strict interpretation, which basically says that our zoning board of appeals must strictly adhere to the bylaws. Like, so if you need frontage, whatever. And the other is a more liberal version of the zoning board of appeals that says you can kind of, kind of fudge it. If it's good enough, is good enough for me. We have the strict version in Stockbridge. This isn't a matter of opinion. This is the law in Stockbridge. So basically what we could do is we could spend a whole lot of time annoying these folks and spinning our wheels on a piece of property that I don't believe we have the legal right or that they have the legal right because of the variance issues to develop. And I don't see it beyond that. There's the merits of the argument. As we pointed out at prior meetings, the idea of putting one or two houses through this guy's side yard and that person's side yard, it wouldn't be terrible, in my opinion. Who am I to say? It's just an opinion. The idea of putting 50 or 60 houses up there and all those folks back on that property through a 50-foot driveway seems unreasonable to me, on top of a whole bunch of other unreasonable things that happened to this neighborhood. It kind of got every idea that we had to find somewhere to put something happened in that neighborhood over a whole lot of years. So I don't see any way, and I'll make one other point. When Jay Bukowski and I proposed the Affordable Housing Trust 5 years ago, it got near unanimous approval at town meeting. It was aspirational. It was like kind of maybe we figure out how we could have our teachers here and all the rest of this. I don't know that we get the same reaction based on the performance of this board 5 years later, where there's been so much focus on this one thing. I am done talking about it. I would like us to not talk about it anymore. I don't think it's a realistic project for us. And I think we should figure out how to get
Could I
back to
ask
the
you, Patrick,
aspirational
why
stuff.
you didn't speak up when we decided to accept it, the gift?
I didn't know that, I hadn't checked with Donnie yet on the laws around the zoning board of appeals. Turns out we have laws. I'm not a lawyer.
I'm not aware of what those, and I have spent a lot of time about whether it can be developed. So, but it would be helpful before we voted, because every one of us went through an extensive process with engineers to see whether the property could be developed. And the answer was 89 units. We didn't want to put 89 units there, but it was perfectly possible to do that, whether that fits with the neighborhood, whether it's the right thing to do. You have to get more information. And that's then what this vote is about. So if you don't get more information and you don't hire the lawyer to write the opinion, I mean, that's the town council should have written the opinion at that point. Patrick,
I don't know what to say, Randy.
I know, you
Everyone's
don't
done.
have to. Okay.
Can I say?
Yes, yes.
So at one of our prior meetings, we had a discussion where, and I was asked if I would go and look at a financial scenario of developing. I did do a fair amount of work on that. I talked to Penrose and got information from them about the cost for the development they're doing in Lenox. You can substitute for the sewer and water, and I also got information from Michael Canales about potential for road. I thought the scenario that I wanted to look at was one that might have 10 houses. Yes, on that first pod, but the bottom line when I got done doing that was economically, I don't see how you could make it work financially. You only have 10. And even in the discussion with Penrose, they were saying, to get federal funding or state funding, you'd really have to have a bigger development than that. And I don't think that that's really the right thing to do in that community. So if you have, 10 units, I don't know how you make it work financially. And if you have a lot more, it's not really the right development in my view for that community. So that led me to kind of think that maybe this was not the best location for what we might want to do.
Which is what we spent a lot of time before we accepted it. And when we accepted it with, I felt, the obligation to go through and really test whether it can be developed. And we don't have all that information, but people make decisions with partial information.
Well, and I take the point that the analysis I went through is not a professional, nobody paid me to do it, but I do think that if you have that kind of information and you can see that there doesn't seem to be a viable path, that it doesn't make sense to spend a lot more money to get verification that what I came up with is in the right ballpark or not. That's my view.
It's a reasonable position. So we have, I think, a motion on the table to untable the,
We already voted on that.
no, we voted on that.
Yeah.
Now we need to vote on whether we would like to retain the engineering firm.
All right.
To examine.
I'll make a comment if you.
Yes, sure.
I think we've learned a lot about this property. We actually know a lot about it. Some of us have walked it. We know there's potential for building back there. As Jan points out, the only way to make the numbers work is to get some economies of scale. And if you do a sewer system back there, you need a lot of units in order to justify the expense of digging all those trenches and putting all those pipes in and all those pumps and grinders. So I think it's this is not a town that wants 20 or 30 houses in any development. That's a very suburban kind of thing to do. It goes against the more rural character of the town. So I think in the information gathering process, if you are gathering and getting more informed, getting smarter about it, you can at some point say, we already know enough that this dog won't hunt. And to spend more of the town's money to further convince ourselves of what I think the majority of this board already knows would seem like a not a very good use of the funds. As far as the friendly 40B goes, I think the word friendly is important in that. It's a way for a developer to come in and do some things that are not observing all of the town zoning rules. But the idea is that it should be done. It's not to jam something down a community's throat. If you have a lot of people that don't want something, that has to be respected. And the idea would be to find in a friendly 40B, a piece of property, let's just say the one up on Route 7 where the theater, the Levon property, it's got a couple of names, but as you're heading up Route 7, it's the place on the left where the theater used to put people up in the summer. Now, we actually had the owner of that property attend one of our meetings. And let's say, and he wanted a lot of money for it and it kind of went away. But let's just say there's a place where there's existing buildings, it's on a road. I'm not sure what the water and sewer issues there on that property, but I think it's not that far from Lee. But anyway, as an example of something where, let's say, with our zoning laws of mostly 2 and 4 acre, it's almost impossible to do affordable housing with that kind of zoning on each lot. So you need to be able to have a little more density. The density lowers a lot of the costs for all of the utilities and construction and whatnot, and roadways and trees that have to come down. And there's something to be said for density, even though we don't have a dense town. That might be an area where you could do a friendly 40B where we wouldn't have to observe all the 2 and 4 acre, whatever it is. I'm not sure how it's zoned. And people would say, oh, okay, that's pretty good. We can get 10 2-family homes in there or something. I don't know what the dimensions of the property are, but something that the town wouldn't be in an uproar about. I'm not saying that everybody would be wild about it, but for the most part, you don't, my understanding as a zoning board of appeals member looking into this a little bit is the recommendation from the reading I do is not to say, we have this power, we're going to sock it to the town because we want to do this. That's just not the right use of that power. And I think I'm kind of getting on here, too many themes maybe, but the basic line for me is we already know enough to know this is not a great project for us. It's taken up a lot of our time and resources. I think we've probably not pursued other things that we might have looked into because this has been such a, on the other hand, when you have 30 acres handed to you, it's like, wow, this is great. Maybe we can get some affordable housing because we don't have to pay for the land. The land's expensive. It's about 20% of the cost of building a house in a lot of instances. That's a nice thing to get. But if all the other expenses involved are so high, it offsets the benefit of the free land. And I think we've sort of arrived, the majority of this board, I think, has arrived at the point where they feel like this is not worth pursuing and that we should engage in some other things, relieve these people of the burden of wondering what's going to happen and of having to turn out at these meetings. And I admire the fact that they've been here and stayed with this and been present and engaged in the process in defense of their neighborhood, which understandably people want to preserve what they have. So that's sort of a summary of my thoughts on it at this point.
Thank you.
And I'd like to make a motion then to release the property back to the owner of the town. We have a member of the select board here who could champion the process with town council. And I would make a motion that we release this property.
Wait a minute, we have a motion on the table. We're not ready.
No, there's no second to your motion. I'm making a separate motion.
We have a second to the motion.
Can't we vote down the engineering thing and then go
We're
to
going to
our
take
step?
care of those motions, and that's a very independent step. So we have on the table a motion to retain the engineering firm to determine the source of water for the Glendale Middle
I thought
Road.
we just voted on that.
No,
voted
we
on it
didn't.
twice.
We took it off the table, I think.
No,
Now
we
we have to
didn't
vote.
do that either. Okay.
I did.
No, we took it
No,
off. Yeah, we did take it off the table. That's
I
why we
moved to
talked
take,
about it.
I moved to take the resolution off the table and vote on it. And
that's right, to vote on it. We're trying.
I got a second and we voted on it.
No, we voted to untable it. Now we
voted-
discussed it. Now we
You
have to vote.
missed.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
fine,
confused.
Now we are going to vote
fine, let's
What are we
vote.
voting?
on whether to retain. The vote is to retain the
Cricket.
engineering firm
Cricket
Cricket.
engineering.
to analyze this.
So a yes vote is retain them, a no vote is
Is do not retain.
do not
Right.
retain.
Okay,
Okay.
No,
okay,
No, Jan.
no, Jan.
okay, no,
Bruce, no.
For you.
I don't think so.
okay,
Mark?
No.
okay.
No.
Yes, Rennie.
Patrick, no.
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 Michaela.
No.
Okay, you're voting no. Okay, so it does not pass. And so you want to make a motion on the second one, which was to retain the architect, to untable it, since you're expert at untabling, Mark.
Bruce moves on table. I second.
I moved untable
Okay,
and,
you second.
and vote on whether to retain the
You
architect.
got to do them separately. Untabling, all those in favor?
I'm in favor of untable.
Bruce, aye.
Aye on table.
Liz, I.
Rennie, aye.
This is just so we have the permission to vote on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Just say
aye,
yes, just say yes.
Really? Okay,
Now
Now
I'll
we're
make a
gonna
motion
vote.
that we,
Now,
we're now going to vote.
it's off the table. Okay.
Well done, Mark. Okay, now we're going to vote on whether to retain the architect
correct.
to prepare
Without the water.
So moved.
a site plan. All right,
Did-
for Glendale Middle Road.
Did you just make the motion?
No, I just articulated it.
Okay.
Who wants to make
Make
it?
the motion.
I'll make the motion.
I second.
All right. I don't need to do it.
Ready? Oh, any discussion on this one?
Yes is retain, no is no retain.
Right.
Yes.
That's the
No
discussion.
is to not retain.
Not retain.
Yes.
Okay. Jan?
Jan, no.
Bruce, no.
Mark, no.
Liz, no.
Rennie, yes.
Patrick, no.
No.
Michaela? Hello, Michaela.
No.
Thank you. Thank you, Michaela. Okay, so we untabled those votes and voted on them, and neither one of them passed. So are you
Now, do
interested?
you want to make your motion, Patrick?
Make a motion to release the property back to the town based on advice of town council and the select board and the planning board and Parks and Rec committee, anyone else who wants to, any other or elected boards that want to weigh on this.
Second.
Well,
That's a little unwieldy.
that's a little, that,
All right.
Patrick,
A little
that's,
bit, a little
no,
bit.
we're not doing that.
Motion to release the property.
No, I think what we should do is,
I just made the motion.
I know, but nobody seconded it yet. Okay?
Thought I heard a second.
Well, let's,
Patrick, do not make a frivolous motion.
I'm not,
because
it's not, I've been at this for 3 years, Randy. It's not frivolous.
It is frivolous because it's complicated. I was the one that did the sale. And it's complicated as to how we need to get direction on what should happen to the land.
let me make a motion then that the board begin the process of determining how to return the property over to the town for open space.
Or to whatever, to whomever.
All right.
Doesn't have to be the
To
town.
begin the process of disposal of the land.
I thought we needed to make a motion to
it's not.
release something that we legally own, according to Randy.
Yeah, we do.
I make a motion that we turn it over to the select board
Yes.
to figure out a plan to release the property.
Right.
They are the elected board of the town, not us. If we're going to release the property, let's get a proposal from.
But we need to.
Guidance.
We need to vote on basically
Right.
no longer owning this property and turning it over to the select board
Is that
to
all right
make a
with you?
decision about what to do with it.
I think it's the board's decision.
No,
We
I don't
need-
want to put something on you guys without,
No.
We need legal advice.
no, we don't. The town
do.
needs legal advice.
No, we own the land. We've got to get legal advice as to what to do.
No, we don't really. We can just make a motion to release the land.
I thought that the whole,
With
I thought that the whole documentation from the Morrises when we accepted the property was that if the trust determined that we were not going to pursue it, that it basically was turned over to the select
That
board.
was
No,
written in
the first
agreement.
step is actually back to the Morrises. They have to.
Well, good, then we'll let the town follow the steps.
But it's
in the
not,
document.
it isn't, it's this board's responsibility. It owns the
We
property.
got a lot to do as a board and this ain't one of them.
I disagree.
Oh, I know you do, but you just got voted down 6-1.
That's fine. Okay, but I still disagree. So, I think the proper thing to do is to consult with our lawyer about what the options are for this board, since we hold title to the land. We can't just say somebody can take it. There's a whole process.
Well, the motion would be to
Begin the
have the chair.
Until next meeting. And
I-
and to make it the formal decision.
I think we should turn it over to Jamie. She's the only person besides you. No, seriously, I'm not trying, this isn't a trap. You're the only person besides Rand who can deal with town council. All right, just take it to Michael and get a path so we can release the property. You're the only one who can do that. I can't call her
I can
anymore.
get information and bring it back to the.
You're a
next
chair, you can
meeting.
do it too.
Different chair.
No, I'm not being a jerk. I'm just saying, you have the power to do it. We can't,
May I make a suggestion? I would like to make a contingent motion.
Okay,
Hold on one second, please. May I speak?
not right now. You can later,
You got a
yeah.
hot number there? What's on the phone there?
We're having a discussion and you're more than welcome to speak, but not right at this moment.
Thanks to your discussion.
Okay, but just a
is that
minute.
Michael or Donna?
It's Michael.
Oh, so we had. That's okay. We can consult with Michael later.
I'd rather.
What?
Putting it off, I'd rather know that.
I would like to make a motion that this trust has determined that we are not going to pursue developing the Mars property, and contingent upon what the select board and Michael Canales find out is the legal appropriate way to pursue this, it gets done.
Yes.
Amen. Second that.
Yep. Second or third, whatever.
Would you like to discuss that?
This is something that in all the years that I spent nauseatingly learning about Robert's rules and everything, through the medical society and every other, political organization, that this is the way you get something out of committee when there's a potential issue that someone else needs to deal with, is that the committee or the trust votes on something and it becomes contingent upon the next step. But it goes forward, period, end of discussion. And it's out of our hands. It does not need to come back to us unless the contingent discussion says you couldn't do that. And then it comes back to us, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, why put us in a position until we know? Why don't we just have
We're in the position.
Why don't we
Motion on the
have,
floor.
Right.
we don't have, the sense of the trust is that they do not wish to go forward
Correct.
with this land.
And so we vote on that, and then whoever
already
is
voted.
responsible for the next phase
We voted on the two.
makes the decision and it's done.
And the selectmen should have the decision.
What's that?
The selectmen should
I think-
switch to the selectmen.
No, it's really, you need to understand the laws of the trust, and this is a unique
But didn't they say
situation.
It reverts back.
Can I speak?
But do you want to come up?
Sure.
Can't Michael just log in?
My name is Kate Fletcher, and I have Michael on the phone here,
Yeah, we'll have him log in.
on speaker. And Michael, the Affordable Housing Trust Committee is, I'll just paraphrase, interested in releasing the land back to the town. But
No, there's no back. That's what,
uncertainty
just wait.
as to what the next step is and what their motion should be.
Can you put on speaker?
It's on speaker.
I can't figure out how to do it offhand right now, but I would think it would just be released that they're not going to take any action on the land and that they wish to turn it over to the town. It's going to have to wait till the town meeting to be accepted as a gift
Right.
for the town. So town meeting approval to acquire properties.
So it's a simple motion.
They already made a motion and it was seconded.
I'm sorry, your bylaws say that you can abandon any interest in property which the trustees determine not to be worth retaining.
That's to go back to somebody.
That's
But I think it's
true, but you
considered
have to
town
look at
meeting.
the this transaction, Jackie. You have to look at the deed.
I think this is my sentiment. We're expressing the sentiment that we want to move on to other things.
No, there's a very confusing motion.
All right.
Let's just make a clear
Well,
motion.
what are we trying to do here?
Just, I think we want to establish,
So Michael is saying here, oh, whoops. Wait, he is saying wait to the next meeting to check the proper process.
to check the proper way to do it. I think
Okay.
Yes.
yeah. Thank you, Michael.
So you're saying wait to the next meeting to check the proper process?
Yes, because we should check what's in the trust documents. That's Mass General Law for transfer of property and get a clear language on the next meeting.
Which is what I said
Thank you,
about.
So bottom line
Table
is,
it and come
Windmill
back.
Road property is dead.
Is no longer going to be developed.
Well, it's not dead. There
A bunch of turtles there, I heard.
But I think we should wait and our next meeting, we gather information and then we can make a proper vote.
Right, and you might make a motion, just a suggestion, to gather the information in order to be able to release the property and do it properly.
Right.
Fine.
So it's
no
not
hurry
confusing.
What's that?
There's no hurry to do any of it. Yes.
But there's a question, and I think we should give a definitive answer to this group.
Yeah.
That they're asking if we're over and out, done, they don't have to come to any more meetings, we're not going to pursue this any further. And I think we want to make a clear statement to that effect. And it seems like that's where we are.
Yeah, I think we can make that statement.
Or any other
That's what,
identity.
yes.
Yeah, you made a motion to do that and it was seconded. You guys just need to vote. She's the only one that doesn't want to vote. And can I please make a suggestion that you get a new chairperson and your next year?
Thank you.
You're
Very
welcome.
kind.
We are up for.
So I think we could have a sensible motion.
All right, a motion to put on the next agenda, a determination of the process for turning the land over to
For
the
the
town.
next steps.
That was
The next
with the
steps.
property.
Whatever it might
That
be.
was good.
Okay,
Yes,
Yes.
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 Yes,
Kayla, okay.
yes, I said yes.
All right. Now, if everybody has the wherewithal and backbone to discuss what else this trust might do.
Mean to look at?
Yeah.
I looked at a couple of things today.
Oh, great.
Hi, Liz. Being the realtor that I am, up to date. There are two properties that they're expensive. That's the one thing, is that we don't have this kind of money, but they do fit the bill. 13 Park Street. I used to live there 40 years ago on the top floor. It's for sale, but it's $900 and something thousand. I put
There's
in
a
my,
lot of apartments in there.
there are five.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
for infrastructure probably right now.
It's got everything. I mean, it's got everything. I do have the financials on it. I have
Where's that?
13 Park Street. It's rented to 5 people. They're all rented. They do have leases. I have the breakdown of.
Is it already what you'd call workforce housing?
Yeah, I mean, when the price is between $1,750 and $800, yeah, I'd say
Those
so.
are the rents.
Those are the rents.
How much work is the building?
So do they need?
And
our
it's town
information?
water and sewer.
It's for sale. Here's the thing, it's for sale. If we continue to let these houses go, there is nothing to buy. And I think one thing that we have talked about is that we want to start buying existing structures and rehabbing them. These may not need anything, so that we could at least make it so that it would continue to be affordable housing in the future. And I think that's
what we're missing. Every time I see something sell for so much, it breaks my heart. I mean, honest to God, it breaks my heart.
They said there's 9 units?
There's five.
5 units.
There's five. But it pays for itself.
Well,
Essentially, it pays for itself, but
and the rents are 1,750 to 800?
no, yeah, it's 817.50.
That says 12.
There's one 3-bedroom. I think there's an office there too.
Town waters.
Town water, town sewer, it's all there.
Sewer.
Bus.
Right.
Neighborhood.
Yep.
All the above.
Yeah, but
No, well, not really sidewalks there.
No.
Sidewalks to get out, to get into town.
Yeah, when you get up the street, yeah.
Station.
Do you know who it's in?
Yeah, it's here. I can't really,
So-
no, it doesn't say right now. Yeah, it's pretty sure it's local. And then there's another one, which is on Main Street, and you've seen it before. It's 49 Main Street. It's got 3 apartments. It's got 3 apartments in the back,
Did you say 39 or 49?
49. It's 1.2 mil, but see, this is, or almost 1.3. I mean, I think this is, when I looked, it's like the 750 is gone in a day, and that's where we have a
But
problem.
there's also an apartment in the houses.
Yes, there are, and I think
That's essentially.
you've got, I know, you've got a really nice big one, and you've got a kitchenette with a little apartment in the back. And honestly, you might be able to make it into 3, but if we looked at it as mixed use,
Yes.
then, maybe that makes it so that the people in the back, and they're not paying much, and there's somebody who's been there for 17 years, and I wouldn't ask
Right.
anybody to leave,
Yeah.
but I think just to be able to make it stay that way. So we can keep it, because I don't have a kid I know who can come home. I don't have one.
You know where this is.
So, I continue to look, and
15 East Street.
they don't come up,
It's
and
moving. Yeah.
I'm ready to move in. Yeah, they are. They're both
Wait a minute,
moving
I
ready.
wonder,
So, and they both are on town water, town sewer. They're right by a bus route.
I don't know.
Walk to the library.
Yeah. So they exist, but the question is, where is the money going to come from? And how quickly can we do it? Because you have to put a darn good down payment on when other people are looking at it as well. And that's what we're fighting.
Negotiate because you're affordable.
I have
housing.
already-
It'll work.
I have already mentioned that. They were all very happy to hear it. That doesn't mean that their clients are.
Right.
However, one client in particular happens to work globally as for Red Cross and is very involved in communities and might be a little bit, but I don't know. I can't represent you because I can either step off the board and be your realtor, which would
you
be
can't.
great.
Love, you gotta wait a year.
But I'm doing a lot of work here.
We keep
Good
it.
for you.
Taking,
Watch out, Peter. We're going to try to get you.
So anyway, there are a couple of things, and as they come up, I'm happy. I have been looking the whole time. It just happens that these 2 came at this time. There's 14 Park Street, which who knows what we
That's
could turn that.
emptied out today.
It did?
Yeah.
Cool. But that's,
Appointment as it does. I mean, you have to be ready.
Pine Street you're talking about, not Park Street.
Yeah, Pine Street.
Pine Street, right.
Oh, this is
Sorry.
part.
Oh, no, I was also saying in 14 Park, fine. But that's it, is that we have to have a nice, hefty, really impressive down payment. And who's going to bankroll the banking? And because we don't have any of the grants, we don't have any of this. So this is almost like, is there a really nice person in town who wants to step in and do this? Because that would be really great. I'm making an appeal. Seriously, I don't know how we make it happen, but they're there
They're there.
today.
And one of the things that,
Would you like to?
and one of the things that I think from our discussion with Randy and with you, it has become clear that the ones that are close to affordable for us to do affordable housing in, to buy, to convert into 2 or 3 condos, 2 or 3 apartments, if they start out at an affordable level, they're on the market until you blink.
Right.
And then they're gone.
Yeah.
So we need to act on these things and not be spending time looking at something that, is really out of our price range or, just overdevelopment. And because I firmly believe we need to start doing something and showing something for what this trust does and all the energy that we've all put in and everyone that's come to these meetings has put into to getting something done. And if we can find one or two or three properties that you already have water and sewer, already have utilities and whatnot, and convert an existing property into 2 or 3 condos and get 6 or 8 or 10 affordable units for workforce or just for affordable housing, I think that will be, a real win.
How about the old tennis courts, near the bridge?
It's a lease property
It's
with,
a lease property.
Yeah, from,
We could ask them though.
and I kind of get the feeling that they want to move something there.
it did sound like that.
Good neighbors.
Nobody's brought it up yet though, but yeah.
Wouldn't, oh, I'm sorry, wouldn't he in court be a first step to add on? Wouldn't they be, I mean, with all the elderly we have in town, we can't even
Right.
get in there.
Yeah, other than.
Talked about
Ability
it.
to add.
We checked with the state. They weren't interested in taking over the road. So unless the Marians wanted to do a project on the edge of their property and with the big giant development they already have going on at the other end of the property, they just have their hands full right now. It's something in the future maybe, but where heat in court is actually Stockbridge Housing Authority. To do what Liz is talking about, we would have to have a partner that actually manages property. They have the lawnmowers and the maintenance guys to fix things. I don't know, but I'm not great with a wrench. Maybe some of you are.
At Heaton Court, you couldn't put a building down in front.
I think that's a question for the Stockbridge Housing Authority, and they have separate meetings from us. Yeah, but they certainly, it is kind of the viewscape coming into town, and I think that it's not to me. It's certainly not to us. But if we were going to buy something like this at 900,000, it's obviously priced
Oh, yeah.
to upgrade each unit and rent it for market right now, which is 2,000, 2,500 a month for an apartment. So that's to support a cash flow of $900,000, you got to get about, just out of the rents, about $10,000 a month. So these rents aren't there yet. All right. So the idea is you buy for 9, you put in 50 each unit, and at 1.2, that's kind of where it's priced at. It's not priced for affordable housing. That's not to say we couldn't use our 400,000 to buy the price down and then basically turn it over to a Stockbridge Housing Authority or someone, but we need a partner to do that. I mean, we don't manage property on this trust,
Right, Tom has his hand up. Would you like?
Thank you, Randy. In terms of buying a property that, say, has a price of 900,000, there might be an option of what you can do with property that's conservation of value, and I think the same may well apply for affordable housing, is what's called a bargain sale. So what that would mean would be the owner of the 900,000 parcel could donate as a tax deduction, say 400,000, and still collect 500,000. And to a wealthy person, that those numbers might work well. So I'm just suggesting that that's something you might want to explore, namely bargain sales. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Also, Sally.
Sally? Where is Sally? I don't see.
Oh, she's got her hand up.
Sally,
the speaker.
You're muted.
are you muted? Sally,
Unmuted.
can you unmute, Sally? We think you want to speak.
You did. There you go.
Ah, there's your name. Sally, can you hear me? We can't hear you. Sally, speak up as soon as you
The
can.
mic isn't working. There's no mic on the screen.
Yeah, okay. All right. Do you want to make a motion to?
No, I want to actually.
Discontinue this meeting?
No, I'd like to just, since we had it on the agenda, I'd like to just spend a minute and frame what some of our options are. But what Jackie said is a reasonable idea. We think at 10%. And because of that, we could simply invest in community development block grant style programs and other maintenance of existing housing stock. That often involves liens, though. and sometimes need restrictions. So sometimes unless there's a lot of money to fix somebody's house, it's kind of not worth it to them because there's been so much appreciation in town, but that is an option. We kind of just say, we can accept the fact that we are at 10% and look for small bore ways to help out. Maybe it's buying 3 units, maybe it's doing whatever we do, all right? Problem I think we're gonna run into under traditional housing model is under this administration, money for housing is dried up, all right? I just literally, when I was leaving my house, I was on the Boston Globe website and housing production is down by 70% in Boston because the money is dried up and it's gotten so expensive to build. It ain't gonna be any easier to build out here than it is to build in Boston. Those people have the political juice to build and we don't, all right? So this idea that under the traditional housing model, we're gonna raise a lot of money in traditional ways is maybe not realistic. I would add to it that these guys, if the planning board wants to look at revisiting density, let them, but I don't see a lot of will around that either. So, I think that next month, July and August, the state has told us that they're going to figure out the seasonal communities thing, which would do two things. It would raise that area median income to be able to get a unit that we could contribute to at least 150%. Some have talked about higher on that committee. Now, the select board decided to wait until those regulations are written, which should be the end of August, early September, to then make a determination about when it's going to go on a town meeting, which is great. I think that our strategy should sort of follow what the town wants to do with seasonal communities. Because if we end up being a seasonal community, there might be, we know the state is going to make money available for that specific purpose. All right. And B, it changes the dynamics of what the minimum lot size is you can build on if it's deeded for residential. And until we haven't answered that question, I don't know that we can pretty much come up with a strategy. If the town doesn't want to do that, then we're probably going to be doing small bore projects, maybe buy an apartment building or whatever. If the town does want to do that, we may want to do something a little bit more aggressive for the middle class at a higher income level to make sure that the teachers and the teachers' aides and the highway workers and everyone else can afford a place here. So, I think we got to kind of look at this over the next 90 days and see what the town wants to do.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else to add?
I guess that's a quick question. Is Pine Street, have we done all of the research there and I see it's still on the market with a little bit even higher pricing.
I think there's some more to do there. We were in touch with Hearthway and I think Eileen and Matt have done a little bit of analysis along with me on what the economics look like. It'll be a stretch. It'll be but I think it's worth continuing the conversation and seeing if there are, other ways we can tweak that so that it might be viable. Yeah. So it's still very much, I think, an option.
Have you had a chance to reach Hal?
I have not.
5 units at 900,000 sounds like a much better deal than 5 units at 2 million, but
It's a challenge to make it work.
It's expensive.
Anything else?
One other.
You're full of conversation.
No, I think we should also look at the Egremont model. Egremont just is a new state law that says if people put in an ADU or rent a house affordably, they don't pay taxes in that town. You want to do the cheapest way? The Egremont already passed it. Egremont has it. You should go read the Egremont bylaw. The cheapest way for us to build a bunch of affordable housing, if we want it, is to say to a homeowner, if you put an ADU in, we won't charge you taxes on that portion of your property if you rent it under $1,500 a month. That puts all the cost and all the opportunity for housing decisions out in the private market. And then you don't need so much money. I think we should also look at the Egremont model, I'm calling it, this law that passed last year that Egremont's already adopted that allows basically people who do out of the goodness of their heart. If this guy is renting one of his apartments for $800, that is way below market. All right. Why not reward him and say, we're going to cut, 20% off your taxes because you're doing a solid for the town. And that just costs us almost nothing as a town. It costs us $1,000, $2,000. rather than hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to build all this stuff. You know, this Egremont model is something I think we should take a hard look at.
I'm curious to see how much it costs to build them and then only rent for 1,500.
No, I'm saying like, you
No, I know.
know, something like
But,
this is
yeah.
a good example of creating an incentive,
Yep, absolutely.
you know?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. There you are.
Okay, so I just put some ideas in chat.
Oh.
Oh, we can't see chat.
We can't, that's how, can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, I first of all have an issue with the nomenclature workforce housing. I think that and affordable housing have some connotations that maybe are not as positive as they might be. I would like to hear it called neighborhood housing. And I would like to see some smaller developments that would be a la Norman Rockwell, where there are maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8 houses with the workforce housing criteria in place. So it would be, 80 to 120% of the AMI. And that it would be deeded to people who work in, and so I'm not sure whether you can specify Stockbridge alone, but Berkshire County, but they would have to work in Berkshire County full-time. There are some communities that require those people to be either police or firemen or EMTs or teachers, but I think that's a little restrictive. I'd rather see it be something more inclusive. And I think that the whole affordable housing thing has gotten a bad rap. And I'm not sure that we don't need to look at it in kind of a different way. We need families, we need people with kids, we need people to go to our schools. The fact that we have 110 kids in the entire Berkshire Hills school is just ridiculous, and it's unsustainable. The whole town at this point is unsustainable because we have no one to work here. We have no one to send their kids to school. We're just dying by increments, and I think we need to be much more creative as to how we go about these things. I mean, right now, our affordable housing bank is, 2 of the properties are restricted. It's not open to everybody. Because Riverbrook and Heaton Court both have very specific criteria for who can live there. So our affordable housing really isn't as magnanimous as we are pretending that it is.
A good point.
Yeah.
So that's my thought.
I like Sally, your idea of neighborhood housing.
I think also then, I think as a town, we really need to look at then how do we get younger people to come back? Because frankly, there's not a lot that when it comes to work or things to do. I offered to have one of my kids come back with his family, and he said, but I can't have a job there,
Well, I also,
if
if I can just jump in though, I would also say that, I hear this like all the time. Every one of these Stockbridge meetings, frankly, is we want young people. And it's like, great. Then why do you keep voting down proposals to improve the school? Why won't we vote on renovations? Why do we, like, every time somebody has a creative idea, the zoning gets in the way? Like it's sort of like we want to create a working class system so that there's plumbers and teachers and firefighters, but we don't really want to offer families any actual assistance or help or support. And that drives me insane. And I think that we have to be real about that. Like, I'm so exhausted by everyone saying, yes, we really want families here. But then every time, I'm reading the Stockbridge updates and we talk about the school and nobody wants to renovate it. Well, you know what will get people here from cities with remote jobs and people who can afford to be here? A really kick-ass school system. That will get people here.
Just to look at what would be reasonable for the school system also. And I think the price tag is just prohibitive.
But
It's
that's where
prohibitive
we
for
are,
people who
Sally.
live
That is
here.
what it costs. That
It's
is what things
prohibitive for the
cost.
people
If
who
people
live
want things
here.
to be affordable, then they need to vote for Mamdani for mayor and see what democratic socialism can actually do for us, because that is the answer.
And with that,
Okay.
Randy.
Michaela, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to serve you. I know you're coming off the board today.
Yes, thank you guys. I
Thank
get
you.
heated about this, but I have really enjoyed personally
You're
working with
awesome.
all of you, and I
You're
really
awesome.
appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Richmond is very lucky to have you.
I don't know about that. We'll find out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Michaela.
apologize to all of you. I have to go home to a sick wife.
Motion to continue this conversation
To continue or continue?
and adjourn?
You want to vote? You want to vote to adjourn?
I'll second that.
All
So
right.
who's making the motion? Are you moving?
Patrick.
for adjourn?
Set another meeting?
Oh, I guess we need another meeting date.
There may be all new members of this, so.
No.
Me too.
Really?
I'm just thinking, I have
It to be your last? Okay, we would really like Jan to stay, just to make a point here. And Bruce as well.
So are we setting a date for the next meeting? Are we?
We should.
Make a suggestion, somebody.
Wait.
Mark, you'll be here. Liz?
I'm here, but I'm leaving the 19th to the 27th. I get to go away.
Say Monday?
Which
Who's in
Monday?
charge of, putting the meeting announcement on the calendar, whether it has an agenda or not? Is that somebody from,
The agenda's ready to go to Teresa.
The chair does.
when we set a date, can we?
Just put the date
I
up.
forgot what it was, and I was looking, just saw it pop up, but a lot of other boards definitely fill in the calendar and.
Right, we don't
Even if you don't have the
agenda,
that's
right,
fine.
just put the date up.
Just whatever.
You know what, I could.
We only
can I do
set
that?
the date, or our procedure had been to set the date one meeting in advance.
Well, that's what we're doing, but I'm just saying, but you don't have to put it up with the agenda. When I put in my notes tomorrow, since they've been approved, I can ask Terry to put the new date on the calendar.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. You're welcome.
Oh, there's an important thing though, for all of us, sorry. There's 3 listening sessions in the next week
Yeah.
or 10 days
One was
for seasonal
One
communities.
was
that
yesterday,
EO
the 26th.
Right,
Yeah. There's 2 more of them coming up, right?
Yeah.
It would be great if we all kind of just watched and listened and kind of.
Zoom it.
Sure, we're up. Yeah, there's just
Yeah, it
Zoom
is
meetings, the
Zoom.
state EOA,
At this state?
yeah.
and they're not recording them.
Executive Office of Housing Livable Communities, you're doing.
So how do you find?
Did anybody go?
If you just go to EOHLC at mass.gov.
I had
They
another
have-
meeting.
I have some things too. Okay, so are we looking for 2 weeks? Or what are we looking for here? Today is the 30th.
2 weeks.
2 weeks would be the 14th,
End of-
would be the 14th.
Isn't that Bastille Day?
Yes, and another.
A historical reference for a little bit of humor for
Yeah,
people.
we can always celebrate while we're here.
I don't know, the fog is up.
Is everybody okay with June 14th?
July.
July 14th?
What time?
6:30, Mondays? I,
I'm gonna be on.
well, I just made my plea. I want Jan and Bruce back because you're very good at what you do.
We're doing,
All right,
talking about the 14th?
July 14th, at what?
what time?
No, I'm just
6:30.
saying, the select board has.
We did.
That's what I thought.
We did.
Yeah, you're on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Asked and I did it. Thursday.
Yeah, you're on. You and Bruce are on.
You asked. I didn't know.
I didn't know.
So 6:30 on the 14th?
Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, move to adjourn.
Second?
Thank you.